We are live. What is going on, everybody? We have hit episode 50. Unbelievably, we've made it this far, and it's all thanks to this community here at Boxing Fanatico Live. Let's go ahead and switch over. What is going on, everybody? Of course, we got to start off with my boy Ep.50 who added a little bit of flair to his Let's Go champ. It isn't just Let's Go champ this time. It's we hit the big 50 Let's Go champ with I believe that's a €5 super chat. Thank you so much, Ep.50. We got to do the celebration for 50. Here we go. 50 episodes. Couldn't do it without you guys. 50 episodes. We are here. We are here. Let's go. British Sterling. There we go. Woo! 50. The big 5-0. The big 5-0. Let me tell you something about YouTube and setting goals on YouTube, guys, before we dive into it. Let me tell you something about this. Always set goals that you have full control of, right? The goal that we always are going to set, and this is good for even for how you structure your channel, how you move forward. The goal that we set is consistency, something that I personally can always stick to. Consistency. Don't set goals like subscribers and stuff. You got to let those things come organically. Right? The goals that you should be setting is consistency. If you set the consistency goal, the subscribers goals will always come. As long as you set the consistency goal, you cannot lose. So let's do that one more time for the celebration for the 50. Thank you so much, Ep.50. And thank you to this community. I appreciate it so much. Silverhawk with a $5 super chat. We killing it today. We killing it today. Adrian Dones, I didn't forget you. My man Adrian Dones came in with a $20 super chat. We gotta do all this. We gotta get y'all all the super chat stuff in. We gonna give y'all all the super chat stuff. We gonna give y'all all the super chat stuff. We gonna give it to y'all, to everybody. Hold on. We gotta do it. We gotta do it all. 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 Another one. Thank you so much, guys. It's unbelievable. Can't believe we made it to episode 50. Yes, please hit the like if you haven't. Let me go ahead and heart this over here, just because, this just is awesome. Thank you so much. Let's go. Another 50 live chat rounds. Let's go, man. Hit that like if you haven't. Hit the like if you haven't, guys. And of course, we're going to have to start the show with Michael Buffer. Can't forget about my man, Mike. We got to start it off with Michael. Let's go.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Episode 50 is a go. We are here. All right. God damn, you guys came in hot with the super chats. Thank you so much, guys. I appreciate it so much. This is touching. It makes the moment feel even bigger. And I forgot to put the comment that Adrian Dones put. Episode 50, let's go. Forgot to add the comment. It's all good, brother. It's all good. All right, we got King of 47. Showbiz said rematch is happening, and he's tuned in with the boxing industry, I believe. Okay. Rematch could still happen, right? Because one of the biggest things is anything can happen when two people negotiate. If Crawford wants to do it, he can. There's a difference, though. He is not legally obligated to do it anymore. He's not legally obligated to do it. Normally, when someone has a rematch clause, they activate it about a day or 2 or 3 days after the fight. Errol Spence didn't do that. He let the rematch clause date come and go and never activated it. Now he has to be at the mercy of whatever Bud Crawford, if Bud Crawford wants to do it. Maybe there's also the split, whatever contractual stuff they had that was embedded into that rematch clause won't be there to benefit Errol Spence. So if Crawford decides, hey, it just makes more sense for me not to fight you right now, I'm going to go ahead and fight Canelo. He doesn't have to pay step aside money. He doesn't have to go to court. He doesn't have to do any of that. He could just go and fight Canelo Alvarez or Jermell Charlo, whoever wins that fight. He's now not obligated to fight Errol Spence. This is what I'm... Can the rematch clause, can the rematch still take place? Of course. Of course it could take place. Of course. Because they could both come to an agreement. The thing is that Bud Crawford no longer has to do it. He had to do it. Now he doesn't have to. Now Bud doesn't have to do it. And that's a big deal. Because if he didn't enact the rematch clause or activate the rematch clause, he had until the 29th, and we are now at the 30th, so he's come and gone. That day that's come and gone, he can't lock him in anymore. He's basically leaving it up to Bud Crawford to make that decision if he ever does it. It's risky. Bud may never come back and do a rematch with him because he might feel it doesn't make sense, right? PBC also doesn't have their hands tied. They might think it doesn't make financial sense to do the rematch clause. That's another possibility. They might be thinking in their heads, we could make way more money if he goes straight up and fights Canelo Alvarez. If he fights Errol Spence and something happens, it dilutes the Canelo fight. It dilutes the Jermell Charlo fight. So maybe we just put it on pause, let him do some work, get some, comeback fights in, and then we do it down the line. They could do that. Or Crawford is under no obligation to ever fight him. Ever, if he doesn't want to. That's my point. Now you left it up to chance. Now you're leaving it up to fate, as opposed to activating the rematch clause and keeping it something that you've both negotiated into the contract that you could have used to your benefit. Errol Spence didn't do that. So, no Catman 78785. The rematch is not automatically going to happen. It can, but it isn't automatically going to happen. Now, in terms of the finances, I don't even think it makes sense to do a rematch clause. It doesn't. The beatdown that Errol Spence took was so bad that it's a hard sell to even tell somebody, hey, look, if you move up to 154, it'll be a closer fight. Even saying it'll be a closer fight is not even enough because the beating was so bad. That's a hard sell to a casual fan because the casual fan doesn't really understand weight classes anyways. They're going to be like, they're just fighting again. All I see is them fighting again. They're not going to understand. They're not going to understand that, that this, oh no, there's a difference. You hear me out. Errol Spence is at a different weight class now, a more comfortable one, and Terence Crawford is going up more. They're not. That's gonna go right over their heads, and it's the casual market. Now you tell the casual market, hey, you remember that guy, July 29th, that dismantled Errol Spence Jr. when 750,000 of you guys bought the pay-per-view. You remember that guy? That put on a show that made it an exciting one-sided affair. Oh, yeah, that guy's going to fight Canelo Alvarez. You know that guy, right? There's more money in the Canelo fight. Fighting Errol Spence just can dilute the Canelo fight. So I don't think that PBC wants to do that. I think that there could be space for a fight in the future, but after where it's already past where it matters. Kind of like Gennady Golovkin versus Canelo Alvarez 3. It was already past when it really mattered. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if Bud Crawford fights Canelo and then that's his swan song. Because he already felt like after the Spence fight, that was his swan song. He wanted to retire after the fight. But he could fight Canelo, and that could be his swan song. Multi-divisional, undisputed, in 3 division, only person in history of the sport to pull that off. And you beat Canelo to do it, or the person who beat Canelo, who's Jermell Charlo, to do it, that's a big deal. flew by, many more to come, hopefully. Yes, 100%. Like I said, man, always make goals of consistency. People get lost in the sauce of YouTube and wanting to grow. You can't control that. You could ask, you could do your best on here, you could put your best foot forward, and people will subscribe and people will like and share and all that stuff. But you can't control what the masses are going to do. What you could control is yourself. So I always set consistency goals. I don't set like subscriber goals and stuff like that. Those things always come with the consistency. But yeah, we're going to keep it going. We're going to keep it going. Prince, this year is the year of fighting games. Tekken 8, Mortal Kombat 1, Street Fighter 6, and UFC 5. We in the golden age. Oh, yeah. And you already know I'm getting that UFC 5, especially after the news that dropped. I'm getting that UFC 5. I don't know how much you guys know about me and Fedor Emelianenko, but that's literally my favorite MMA fighter of all time. I know the end part of his career was a little weird. It wasn't really doing his thing, but in terms of what he was when he was in Pride, that undefeated streak that he had one loss with an asterisk because he got a cut, but he was beating the dude and he rematched him later on, destroyed him. Fedor is my favorite MMA fighter. To know that he's gonna be in the game, that's crazy. That's gonna be my main player. That's the dude that I'm gonna be using the whole time. Fedor Emelianenko. Hopefully, once UFC 5 drops, we can start hearing some new on Fight Night. I hope they start talking about Fight Night. I don't think it's gonna be once it drops, but we're gonna have to wait and see. All right. Let's go over here. Episode 50, like button needed. Get Fanatico on that algorithm. Best boxing YouTuber at the moment. Thank you so much, Prince. I appreciate that. Yes, hit the like if you haven't. Hit the share button, please. Whatever you can do so that we can keep growing the channel because we doing our thing, bro. We doing our thing. Let's go, fam. What up, Fanatico? What's going on, Rogish? What's up? Not legally, so no arbitration BS. Exactly. That's what I'm trying to say. The fight could happen, but now Bud can say, you have to understand, Errol not activating the rematch clause, right, is huge because this is why I think it won't happen. This is why I think Errol does not want to do the rematch because he is now leaving things in the air. They may have had a split percentage thing already structured, embedded in the rematch clause. He's now leaving that in the air. And you know how much leverage Terence Crawford has right now over giving Errol Spence a rematch? Do you understand how much he has godly amount of leverage right now? He has a better proposition fight for better money. He would literally have to do it out of like empathy and pity. Like that's really, and no knock on Errol Spence. But if we're looking at it in like we're looking at reality, hold on one second. Game over with a $5 super chat. We got to do the $5 super chat.
I've done it from time to time. Just haven't been. Oh.
The $5 super chat. My game over. Congrats on episode 50. Thank you so much, brother. We are here. We have made it to episode 50. Now, let me get back to what I was saying. Thank you so much, though. He's now leaving things in the air. Why would you? Because this is another thing that I've been hearing. Oh, he's not doing the rematch because he didn't activate it because, he wants to maybe fight him down the line, and then, or they're probably still negotiating stuff. You don't have to fight him right now. You could activate your rematch clause 3 days later from the night of the fight, which most fighters do, but Errol Spence did not do, which is very telling. Why were you dragging your feet on activating the rematch clause if you really want to fight him? He didn't do that. He dragged his feet. You could activate the rematch clause and then fight him whenever you want to fight him. It doesn't have to be next. But at least when you activate that rematch clause, he's stuck. He has to fight you at some point. Y'all could come to an agreement of when the fight's going to happen, but you could have done all of that talking with the rematch clause activated. The fact that Errol Spence did not activate the rematch clause is hard for you to convince me that he still wants to fight Bud now that Bud has everything in his power. He could be like, well, you didn't activate the rematch clause, so what we're doing right now is just, do I want to fight you? And then if Errol truly wants to fight him, Bud could literally say anything. The split could be insane for Bud Crawford. Like, so much control in Bud Crawford's hands when there was a rematch clause that protected you. Why not use that? My theory and my hypothesis is that Errol Spence doesn't want to fight Terence Crawford. He does not want to have the rematch. He said he wanted the rematch, but after some time, after probably speaking with his team and his family and all these things, he probably figured, okay, that was my ego speaking. It probably doesn't make any sense to do the rematch clause with Crawford. I would not be surprised if Errol Spence retires because he has to start from scratch. I wouldn't be surprised. Not saying that that's what he's going to do, but why wouldn't you activate the rematch clause to protect yourself? That's like an insurance policy. He let the insurance policy expire. Now he's at the mercy of whatever Bud Crawford wants to do. Why would you do that? Why would you do that? That doesn't make any sense. So it's hard for you to sell me, anybody in the boxing social media landscape or any boxing talk channels. It's hard for you to sell me on the fact that they're going to still fight. Because if Bud could see better opportunities north, 3 divisions north of where he is, why is he going to waste having a fight with Errol Spence that's going to make less money, guaranteed is going to make less money, even if they fight at 154? And now you've given him all the power. So he's going to be like, he could be like, I want this much money. I want this split. I want this. I want that. I want this. I want that. And now what? Why do that when you had a rematch clause that would have protected you? That's all I'm saying. Hit the likes button, please. Hit the likes button. Thank you so much, Andre Trepanier. Thank you so much. Please hit the like button if you have it. Bud versus Canelo. That's the route. That's the route right now. Bud should only take the rematch if the split is 70-30. My goodness. That's such an insane split. But he could ask for it, and what's Errol Spence gonna do? He didn't activate the rematch clause. He can't force him. He don't even have to give you free money to step to the side. He doesn't have to do anything now. There is no incentive for a fighter not to activate their rematch clause if they want to fight somebody and just leave it up in the air. There's no incentive. And trust me, if he activated the rematch clause, we would know. You know how many boxing journalists and reporters want to break that news? You know how many hundreds of phone calls they're giving his team every day before the 29th, on the 29th especially, to find out if he actually activated it? The fact that no one was able to report on him activating it means he ain't activated. He ain't activated. There's no purpose. There's no secret that there is a rematch clause. So there's no purpose in being secretive on the rematch clause activation. What is the gain that you have? Everything's already structured. Let's go, Fanatico, 50-0. We here, bro. We made it, bro. We made it to 50, man. Episode 50. Can you believe it? Now we're shooting for 100. Now we're shooting for the 3 digits. I want 3 digits on my episode number, chronological sequence, whatever you want to call it. I want 3 digits on that. So we're shooting for episode 100. Spence versus Thurman is next at 154. That'd be a good fight. That's actually a very smart fight. Get that to 154. That's a smart fight. That's a smart fight. It's something that it's smart for Spence because I can see Spence beating Thurman, and then that allows for him to kind of start getting back into the flow. But he has to start from scratch. He literally lost all his belts that he worked for. That's very, very tough. That's going to be a very, very tough thing. If Spence wants it, he will get it. Bud appreciates the fact Errol gave him the opportunity, and I'm pretty sure he'll return the favor, but we shall soon see. Yes, but here's the thing, Hashim. He's no longer obligated to return the favor. And he could say, bro, we could fight later on because I need to do this and I need to do this, and I'm not getting younger, so I'm trying to get my next fight, to be with, for a 3-division undisputed. Right? He might be thinking legacy. It's not like, hey, bro, we both gave each other this opportunity. Like, you had the opportunity to enact the rematch clause and you didn't. I got to move on, bro. I have to move on. This is not just about, it's also about time is ticking and my legacy and all that stuff. So I got Thurman finishing Spence. Thurman probably saw some things and Bud laid the blueprint. Well, the blueprint is, if you take away the engine of Errol Spence, if you can withstand or figure out ways to counter all of that stuff, then there's not much Errol Spence can do. But I don't know if Thurman has enough tools in the tool belt to do that to Errol Spence. Because like I said, you can't look at Crawford and be like, hey, Crawford laid out the blueprint. Crawford in real time in high stakes, real time, high speed could pull that stuff off. 99.999% of fighters will fall to Errol Spence's pressure. They will fall to his pressure. Bud Crawford is a one-of-a-kind fighter. So sure, there is a blueprint, but that's like saying, what do I do to compare this? What do I do to compare this? It's tough. It's like saying, a defender showed how to shut down LeBron James or show how to shut down your favorite basketball player. So now any other basketball player knows how to shut them down. No, that dude did something that you're not supposed to be able to do on a consistent basis. That's what Terence Crawford did. Sure, he showed you what you could do, but can you actually pull that off? That's the question. That's one thing I never got into was MMA. Wouldn't know where to start. LOL. Yeah, man. I mean, I'm not into UFC, but I did watch Pride a lot. That was one of my favorite, MMA organizations. I like seeing Mirko Cro Cop, Fedor Emelianenko. It was just a fun experience. Fedor's brother, it was a fun experience watching Pride, because Pride felt like almost like you was watching an anime. I'm not gonna hold you. It felt like you was watching an anime. Like, things would be crazy. Like, the weight differences was insane. The height differences was insane. And it was just a fun thing. So to me, knowing that Fedor's gonna be in the game is gonna be fun. Do I sit down and watch MMA consistently? No. If John Bones Jones fights, I'm watching that fight. If Conor McGregor fights, I'm watching that fight. So there's a few people that, if they fight, I'm gonna automatically watch it. But it's very few and far between. It's like a handful of people. But I am gonna watch UFC 293 because they're gonna post the trailer or the gameplay of UFC 5, and then of course I want to talk about it here, so I'm gonna watch it, and I'm just interested to see how it looks. But the game is looking like it's gonna be a banger. I'm not gonna front. It's looking like it's gonna be a banger. That boxing game should not be named needs to come out this year. Okay. Where is the update? It's been two months. Guys, you can't ask me about Undisputed. We talk about IRL boxing on Boxing Fanatico Live. You can't ask me about Undisputed, so don't do it. You're wasting your time. Don't do it. Don't ask me about Undisputed, please. This is a random question, but do you like the Ukraine rings? Had a whole discussion with a friend about if the ring Usyk fought in and the ring the Klitschko's fought in looked good, the all white. I heard that the ring was vinyl and it was raining. Nah, I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan. I like the rough, the rough, like, carpet feeling rings, or I don't know what that tarp. I guess it's a tarp. That's the rings that I enjoy. That's the rings that I like. To get the best grip off of those. Even if you fall, it don't feel that bad. I like those rings better. La Jessica, salute to everyone. Salute to you, La Jessica. Thank you for coming in here for Boxing Fanatico episode 50. As per ESPN's initial report, which first broke Spence versus Crawford, I'm pretty sure it stated that if the rematch clause was activated, the rematch would have to take place before the end of 2023. Interesting. Okay. But let's see. The thing is, if I was Spence, I still wouldn't risk it. Because you have to now put all your eggs in Terence Crawford's basket. You have to put all your eggs in his basket and hope that Terence Crawford is just going to be a man of his word. And sure, you could, you could do the handshake or whatever, but those things don't always pay off. If Terence Crawford is not forced to do something, he might go into what is a better direction for his career. He's not getting any younger. It's a risk. It's a very big risk for Errol Spence to just leave it in the air like that and have to renegotiate with Bud Crawford. Of course, Bud want to give him the rematch. He knows he will put the beast on him again. Money for an easy day at work. Why not? Yeah, but Bud is super competitive, man. He just wants to complete his legacy run. He just wants to complete his legacy run. And that entails being 3-division undisputed. He's just trying to complete his legacy run. And he's going to try to do it as quickly as he possibly can. 100% scared. Don't blame him, Fanatico. I don't think he's scared. I think he's just, he's conceded. Right? He's conceded that Bud Crawford is better than him. He was very confident. For many years, he thought he was better than Bud Crawford. And I know that he thought that because he pushed for this fight to happen. He agreed to terms that he didn't need to agree to with Bud Crawford. So I know that he really wanted that fight. And when somebody really wants a fight, it's not because they're going to hand themselves over like a sacrificial lamb. No. This is not the Terence Crawford story. He believed in himself that he was better than Crawford. When he had that fight and he realized there was nothing that he could do, he was getting beat from pillar to post. There was nothing that he can do. No matter what anyone says, oh, if he goes to 154, he's going to be better. He knows that ain't going to make a difference. He knows that. Because he knows weight was not even a factor. He knows that. The same way he was able to completely demolish Ugas, the fight before Crawford, he knows what he's capable of at 147. He knows that going up to 154, it ain't going to change nothing. In fact, what it can do is just create a worse experience for him, but is probably going to do better in the next fight because he already has him downloaded. Spence doesn't have anything else in the toolbox because he's technically sound. He's very technically sharp in terms of he does everything correct. He's very correct in the way he fights, but that's not enough to beat a Bud Crawford. It's enough to beat all these other guys because he has an insane engine. It's enough to beat them. It isn't enough to beat a Bud Crawford. And he knows that. So he knows that if he goes to 154, it's going to be a worse experience. So I think that's the reason why he didn't enact the rematch clause. Create an arena like in WWE 2K would be a very cool feature in a new fight night. Maybe that's just me. Create an arena? What? I've never thought of that. WWE got one of the best customizations, but they've been doing customizations for years. It's hard to come and do WWE stuff with games that haven't been doing high level customization. Could it be that the rematch clause is tied to an official announcement agreement per the contract, almost like an NDA of not saying anything until PBC announces it? Gus Spring, hey, what's going on, brother? It is possible. It is possible. However, I don't understand the incentive of not saying it. If you have the rematch clause activated, there's no incentive in not saying it. Every other fighter who's had a rematch clause and has enacted it or activated it, which most fighters do, is normally around 3 to 4 days after the fight. They don't wait the 30 days. They wait 3 or 4 days after the fight. They activate the rematch clause. And everyone knows because all journalists call them up, figure out what's going on. They know and they tell us. There's no financial or political or positional incentive for PBC to be like, let's keep it on the hush-hush. Everyone knows there's a lingering rematch clause. Everyone knows that. So there's no incentive to keep it quiet. There just isn't. There just isn't. So with all of that, with understanding all of that, the likelihood. Now, is there a chance that maybe they did it in silence? Sure. Has other fighters done that? Not to my knowledge. Activating rematch clauses is normally a public thing. But if they did do that, then cool, we get the fight. I'm not saying that it isn't possible. I'm just saying that it is highly unlikely. If we have not gotten any reports of a rematch clause activation, it is highly unlikely that a rematch clause has been done or has been activated behind the scenes. Now, are they trying to still get the fight to happen? That's possible. But Bud Crawford isn't tied to it anymore if the rematch clause was not activated, which also wouldn't make sense for Errol Spence to put himself in that position when he had a rematch clause in the contract that he could have used. It's time for Boots to take over 147. He might take over 147 because everybody's leaving. But 147 ain't going to be the hot division no more if Bud Crawford and Errol Spence leave. If a rematch were to take place within 2023, it would have to be around December after UFC 296. I would imagine if they do it in 2023, it would be in December. Facts. Boots been my favorite fighter since the Lepinets fight happened. Excited to see what happens in his career in the future. Well, let's see. Let's see how far he could take it. Pride was fire. Yes, 100%. The Pride theme is goated. Oh, heck yeah. The Pride theme, that joint was a banger. Team Gil 1, thank you so much for the subscription. Guys, if you haven't subscribed, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button. But also, if you haven't hit the like button yet, please hit the like. It's free, doesn't cost you anything, and it helps the channel as we continue to push to episode 100 because we've hit episode 50. I'm so excited. Thank you so much, guys, for being here. Geddon's Gaming Corner. Shakur was like, I'm tired. You speak about that? I just got here. Nah, I didn't speak about that yet, but I am going to speak about that. Let me see. Need that Bud versus Canelo breakdown. Oh, yeah, we got to do that. But I got to be careful because I got a copyright strike on the channel because of Blueface. So thanks to him, I got to be mad careful with what I show. Everybody else gives a copyright claim. This dude decided to do a copyright strike. Okay, so let's quickly talk about Shakur Stevenson saying that he was tired in the sparring session. That is a 100% out of context clip. It's a clip that's out of context. That is the same sparring session, by the way, that Shakur Stevenson, which I think almost the entire sparring session was recorded. That is the same sparring session that Shakur Stevenson completely outboxed Devin Haney. Devin Haney was not putting the beats on him. He probably landed one or two things on him. It was all Shakur Stevenson. We can't pretend we can't pretend that that was not from that sparring session. They're literally, it's the same camera angle. They're wearing the same clothing. They have the same gear on. The same people are that are there are around them. It's the same sparring footage. Go and watch the full sparring footage. Shakur Stevenson basically smoked Devin Haney in that sparring session. We don't know if Shakur Stevenson, if Devin Haney just got in there with Shakur and Shakur had just sparred 5 other people, 6 other people. We don't know that. It's a complete out of context thing. He probably like, man, I'm tired. I already figured you out. That could be a thing too. He's like, I already, like, what's the point? Like, yo, we've been doing this for mad rounds. You ain't doing nothing. So, you know, I'm tired, man. I'm moving on from this. You can't just take a thing and then, like, just hope that it goes in. Like, oh, this means, sure, you want to say that he's tired because he's saying he's tired? Well, okay, he's saying he's tired because he was beating Devin Haney up in the sparring session. He's tired of beating him up. You can't just use that one clip and not connect it to the full sparring session when we've all seen the sparring session. We've all seen it. Everybody's trying to pretend. Everybody's trying to be like, la, 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 la. Don't pay attention to what happened in the sparring session. Just pay attention to the fact that he said he's tired. When we don't know what has happened, we don't know what happened before the sparring session. And this was just what I was about to say right here. Rashid Wilson. He could have meant he was bored. He didn't feel challenged. He's like, this is dumb. You ever play video games, right? A little challenging game or whatever, a fighting game or something with somebody that's good. You excited. You want to keep outsmarting them. But then you play with somebody that's like trash and you're completely just figuring them out over and over and over and over again. It's not fun anymore. It's probably fun in the beginning, but then you're just like, I don't want to keep doing this, bro. You're not going to figure me out. You have to practice way more. You got to come back to me in like a year or 2, so you're not going to figure me out right now. So I'm bored. But he's going to be respectful, right? People are respectful. People say things that they don't mean. So we're looking at this and we're trying to say, oh, he's tired. That means he tired him out. But if you look at the sparring session, you completely dismantle it. He could just be being polite. He doesn't want to say like, bro, you're not gonna figure me out, bro. Like, I'm ready to go to the Olympics right now. Like, you're not gonna figure me out. He don't want to say that. He gonna say, I'm tired. Like, I'm just tired. He could say that. So sure, yeah. I bet that clip is not new, by the way. That clip is old. I've seen that clip already. People were passing it around saying he was saying that he was tired, like maybe a few months back. That clip is old, but the sparring session, that thing has been up for a long time. I actually saw that sparring session before Shakur even went to the Olympics. So I've been seeing that sparring session. That's one of the sparring sessions that made me like Shakur. Like, I used to watch all his sparring and his national and international competition. That's where I started liking Shakur in the amateurs before he even went pro. Also, what was it, a low blow or not? I'm saying that it was physically not a low blow. The technicality is, unfortunately, at the discretion of the referee. The referee could be at a weird angle, could be in a different position. He's not seeing it with instant replay, photo freezing, all these different things. He's sometimes making a judgment based off of whatever he feels in that moment from what he saw. They are human, which means they can make human errors. We've seen it so many times, not just with low blows, but with slips. Sometimes somebody slips and they call it a knockdown, and vice versa. Sometimes somebody get actually knocked down and they call it a slip. We're dealing with humans that they're not going to be perfect. They're going to make human errors. When watching it with slow motion and all of these benefits that we have to see it perfectly as we possibly can, with freeze frame, with all these with multiple camera angles, in my opinion, he was hit in the belly. It was on the trunks, but on the belly. It wasn't an actual low blow. It was a belly shot. I also don't believe that he pretended to be hit low. I think he acted accordingly. It was a belly shot that hurt him. He held his belly. He didn't hold his, take a look. He ain't hold his nuts. He held his belly. He held his stomach and went down. It was just the referee's discretion. He decided it was a low blow. Because at the end of the day, all of this stuff is still at the discretion of the referee. It's still going to just be at the discretion of the referee. He might feel that was low. Another referee might feel that isn't low. There's nothing that we can do because it's a human thing. They got to make calls on the fly all the time. They're under the pressure of making the right calls all the time. You ever gonna finish that boxer's road career? Maybe. I might go back to it. We'll see. I'm thinking of watching. Playing UFC 5. So we'll see. We'll see. And it's gonna have online career. UFC 5 gonna have online career. Man, that's crazy, man. That's crazy. That's one of the things I always wanted to do with Boxers Road, because with Boxers Road 2, you had your fighters' attributes, and you could actually, back in the olden days, you had the link cable with your PSP, and you could connect it to somebody else's PSP, and you could fight them with their created character. So you had your attributes that you worked on, and with the feeding, with the food and all that stuff, and they had their attributes, and then you would fight each other, and you could see who had the better fighter. That is just amazing to me. But unfortunately, I just know it can happen because I've seen it with the PSP connection and everything. I can see the menu system and all that stuff, and I can see that I can select my fighter exactly how I built him up. But I've never actually been able to experience it because I found out about Boxers Road 2 years later, because that only came out in Japan. So the cool thing with this whole online career mode is, from how I think it's going to be, you take the fighter that you're building, not from the offline career mode, but through the online career mode, you're building him. So it has like this kind of Pokemon kind of situation where it's your guy that you've built, that you pick attributes that you care about more than other attributes, and then you put them in against other people. That was also like EA MMA. And I used to fight. I fought in a bunch of live broadcasts for EA MMA. I was in like the semifinals in EA MMA with my created character, with my specific things that I put on him. And so I was literally one fight away from going to the championship fight, which was live broadcasted to thousands of people through the EA Sports website. So, I've dabbled in it. So we'll have to wait and see. The video used to be up. But the person who put it up, they took it down. So unfortunately, we can't see it. But my name was Ninja X-Infinity, or Ninja Infinity. That was my name back then on my gamer tag. And I went up against Boiler 561 or something like that. I think Boiler is in the MMA game community now. But we went up against each other, and it was a hell of a fight because it was 27 minutes. I think it was a special, the rule set. They had a rule set, I think it was called Tali Tudo or Vale Tudo, whatever, where it's just 27 minutes straight. No rounds, it's just 27 minutes straight, and it was crazy. I was like, I had the upper hand on him for like the first 15 minutes, and then the dude came back, and it was Boiler. Game over was Boiler. Vale Tudo, that's what it was. Yes, Vale Tudo. We did it was 27 minutes or 20 minutes. We did it straight. Live broadcast with commentary. We had a special MMA fighter commentating as well. It was a whole big thing. Their live broadcast was fire. They was ahead of their game, ahead of their ahead of their time with that. But yeah, it was the cool thing is it was just a continuous 20 something minutes, and we went almost the whole 27 minutes. I think he finally knocked me out like in minute 24 or something like that. He had it up. Boiler had it up on YouTube, but it's no longer there. He took it down, unfortunately. But I've watched it a few times. It's fun to watch with the commentary and everything, with the live commentary. It was pretty cool. Fanatico, can Spence rematch be a nightmare for the bookmakers, bookies? Maybe that's a business side. That's business side not being talked about. Nah. What's the nightmare? What's the nightmare? It's just going to be Terence Crawford an overwhelming favorite. There's no nightmare. That actually makes it easier. Terence Crawford is going to be an overwhelming favorite. That's it. There's no nightmare. It's good. It's going to be easy for them. Sparring session super old. Yeah, it was before. I remember exactly when it went up. I think it was Dante's Boxing Nation that put it up. I remember exactly when it went up. I watched it the day it went up, years back. It was before Shakur Stevenson went to the Olympics. He was going up. He was in the Olympic trials when he sparred Devin Haney. Officially, it was a low blow. Yeah, officially it was a low blow. But like I said, watching it with the benefit of seeing multiple camera angles and all these different things, in my opinion, it looked like it hit his trunks, but it didn't hit his nuts at all. Like it hit his stomach, and his trunks was kind of high. So in my opinion, it was right on the belly. But also, he didn't pretend that it hit his nuts. That's another thing that people are like, he's the greatest actor of all time. Look at him. Go watch it. Go watch it. Did he take advantage of the amount of time he was being given because a referee called the body shot a low blow? Yeah. Fighters do that all the time. That's boxing. When you throw dirty punches in the clinch because you have an opportunity to do that and zap a little bit of energy from your fighter, from your opponent, you're not supposed to. You're not supposed to punch when the referee is saying break. But fighters do it. It's the little advantages. You take advantage of all these little advantages. Something's going off over there, so I don't know what that is. That, well, what is that? I think there's a phone here. Hold on one second. Sorry about that, guys. All right, I'm back. Sorry. Sorry about that. Yeah. I forgot what I was saying. What was I talking about? Yeah. So he didn't pretend that he was hitting the nuts. He pretended like he acted like he was hitting the stomach. He held his stomach, but he saw the referee say, "Hey, low blow." He was like, "Oh, snap. Okay, cool. I'm just going to sit here." What I do not agree with, where I aggressively do not agree with, is that people are like, how long was he down? 4 minutes? That means he would have been TKO. He would have been KO'd if it was counted as a low blow. That is the most watered down thought process I've seen. Or one of the most, like, huh? So you mean to tell me that you think that fighters get up only when they're 100%? You think that when a fighter is knocked down, knowing that it will result in a loss, that they're not going to get up before 10? As a matter of fact, you could go back to Usyk getting hit in the body, because he's been hit in the body in that same fashion before. Goes down, the referee calls it a knockdown, and he got up in 1 second. The moment the referee started counting, he got up, walked to the corner, the referee continued to count to 8. And then he continued. If he was under the impression that it was considered a knockdown, he would have gotten up. Do you really think that he's doing this 4D chess thing, that he thinks that it's going to be ruled a low blow? He didn't do anything specific to indicate it was a low blow. He acted like he got hurt to the stomach. But when he noticed the referee said low blow, he said, okay, cool, I'm going to take my time, as anyone else would do. But if the referee would have said, no, not 1, 2, 3, he would have got up. You think he's going to stay down on the floor for 4 minutes? Come on, guys. You can't be that simple. You gotta, you have to understand the dynamics and the context of the situation and know that, even go to the past and see what he's done in situations similar to this. But you have to know that he's not going to stay on the floor for 4 minutes if it's ruled a knockdown. He's just going to not be 100% when he gets up. But to say that it is a knockout because it's 4 minutes and 4 minutes is more than 10 seconds, that's ludicrous. Now, would that have been a point for Dubois? Yeah, it'll be an extra point, a 10-8 round or something like that. Could he have been hurt and he would have to defend himself? He probably wouldn't be able to come back in that round, and he would have to wait to rest and then come back from the next round? Sure. But at the end of the day, he didn't even win on the scorecard anyways. It wasn't even a close fight anyways. He still completely dismantled Dubois anyways and got the knockout anyways. So what does it even matter? Why are we still even talking about it? It doesn't even matter. It doesn't matter because it didn't reflect what would have happened in the fight. He would have gotten up. He would have knocked him out. He was outboxing him. One thing I hope that this lets Fury decide to finally fight Usyk. Because a lot of people have Fury winning that fight. I don't have Fury winning that fight. I have Usyk winning that fight. I don't care how big Fury is. I don't care how athletic he is. I don't care any of that stuff. Usyk would beat Fury if they fought. And by the way, I'm in an 8-fight prediction streak right now. Know what I'm saying? We score high points here on our prediction. It's easy to be on an 8-fight prediction streak when you analyze boxing before you make a decision and when you're not biased. You add those two things and it's easy. If you bias, you're always gonna be winning and losing all the time. It's just gonna be, you never know. You never know because you're just picking somebody with your heart. You're not picking through analyzing. The reason we are at an 8-fight prediction streak right now on Boxing Fanatico, the reason is because we are unbiased and we just analyze the fights. And I'm telling you, in an unbiased, analyzed fight way, Usyk will outbox Tyson Fury. And don't say I didn't tell you so when it happens. Don't say I didn't tell you so. Same thing with Bud Crawford. I said that this thing, what happened, what we saw, I said that that's what was going to happen. I'm not hating on somebody or loving on somebody else. I'm not doing that. I'm just analyzing it and giving my prediction. And that's why we are at an 8-fight prediction streak here on Boxing Fanatico. Happy 50 Fanatico. Thank you, Fire. Thank you so much for being here. We've made it. We've made it to number 50, episode 50. Now we're shooting for 100, episode 100. That's where we're going. Sup, dudes? I'm mad late. You are. Get out of here, David. Get out of here. You're too late now. It's what? 5 minutes? Get out of here, man. No, I'm just kidding. I'm playing Undisputed 3 right now, getting hype for UFC 5. Oh, that's fire. That's cool. I like the Undisputed game. I actually played all the Undisputed games and EA MMA. That's where I stopped. Never played really. I played it right once or twice or whatever, but I never actually played. UFC, EA UFC 1 or 2 or 3 or 4. Never did that. So I'm glad to come back. I'm glad to be back on here. Online career seems crazy. Yes, 100%. Playing the Pride mode. Yep, that's fire. That's what I love playing that mode too. That's fire. Boiler, he's a cool guy for sure. Yes. God damn, so 27 minutes. Yeah, it was something crazy. Probably 20 minutes. I might be like misremembering, but it was like a one thing. And we had a special rule for our thing because I think our first fight glitched out. So they had us redo the fight. And then we had to, when we did it, or it glitched out, or the audience that was watching, the thousands of people watching, I think we had like 4,000 people watching live at that time. Because it's everybody who, people who bought the game and all this stuff, but they didn't see the fight. So they had us, me and Boiler both agreed to fight again, like to do the fight over. And then we did the fight over, but they were like, okay, to make this quicker or whatever, it'll just be one continuous round. So they put the Valley 2 to rule. And then so we had that special rule for the first time in competition. They'd not done that before. And it was a whole tournament style thing, bracket, where like I was beating these people on live broadcast. And then I finally met Boiler. And that was, I met my match with Boiler. But it was a good fight. It was a really good fight. Sup, Ed? All is good. What's going on, Mr. Nobody? What's up? ASAP TV, you have no idea how happy I was to tell Spence fans that Bud is the A side. He's definitely 100% the A side now. He's the AA side. He's the A plus side. Like the man has options. When you that's dangerous. Options. He already beat you. He don't gotta fight you no more. You carry no belts, no nothing. There's nothing for him to gain from you. He's already shown he can win against you. It's a lot. It's an uphill climb for Spence outside of the rematch activation. It's an uphill climb to get that fight to happen. And if it ever does happen, he's going to be at an immense disadvantage. I guarantee you. He's going to be at a crazy disadvantage. Because these are not like two people that hey, man, it's all about respect and let's just go to the, to the park and throw the hands. It's not that. It's a business. And if Crawford is going to add any risk to his fights in the future that can make a lot of money like a Canelo fight, he's going to want a lot of reward for that risk. It's still a risk, right? It's not, it's boxing. One punch could end it. It's still a risk. So if he's going to take that, even that small risk to fight somebody like Errol Spence, again, he's going to want to have more control over what goes on. Granted, with that being said, I still have Bud beating Spence by KO by the 5th round. I kid you not, by the 5th round if they were to fight again. To me, it seemed like every time Dubois touched the body, Usyk complained. Oh, okay, man, probably. But in that actual knockdown, he did not grab his nuts. He grabbed his stomach. He definitely grabbed his stomach. Usyk also benefits in this case for the fact that a low blow doesn't have to hit the balls. True. I'm guessing it probably hiked his protector and that he had to feel some type of way. Yeah, I mean, in terms to me, from where the punch landed, it just landed on his stomach physically. Technically, that's up to the referee because it was so borderline and all this stuff is up to the referee. It's up to the referee. And all that stuff is the discretion of the referee. Even if you get knocked down, that's to the discretion of the referee. The referee could say you were pushed or it's a slip or what. Like the referee could just decide that you've not been knocked down. And the referee could decide that you've slipped when you've actually been knocked down. It's all at the discretion of the referee. The only reason that it's a big deal is because of how long Usyk took to get up. Had Usyk just gotten up right away, it wouldn't have been a big deal. But because he took so long to get up, that's what made it a big deal. Because people started going, 4 minutes compared to 10 seconds, that's a loss. Like people started doing that, like apples to apples when it isn't apples to apples. According to Showbiz, the fight between Crawford and Spence will happen. He has a source. Did he put a video out? I should check that video out. But as I said before, sure, can they be negotiating still? Sure. But if he did not activate the rematch, they could rematch without the activated rematch. It's just out of his hands. He's now allowed control to 100% to a 100% degree for Crawford to decide to do it, not to do it. If he goes, you know what, I'll fight you a little bit later on. The Canelo fight seems more like it makes sense for me right now, so I'm going to go ahead and do that one. And Errol can't stop him from doing it. What I'm saying is that Errol has now left it open-ended where Crawford can make any decision he wants to make if, in fact, he did not activate the rematch clause, which I suspect, because we've gotten no reports, that he did not do that. And that's also telling when most fighters who have a rematch clause, they activate that bad boy usually around 3-4 days after. Why did he take so long to activate his rematch clause? If maybe, just maybe, guys, he did not want to activate it. He said that he wanted to do it while his ego was bruised, but after talking to his family and his team, maybe he decided he didn't want to do it. And there's an interview with Bomac. Bomac was just interviewed like today or yesterday, and he said he hasn't heard anything about the rematch clause being activated. And that was like a today interview or yesterday interview. I think it was today that they interviewed him. So it's like, I don't think he activated it, guys. No reports. Bomac don't know nothing about it. I don't think he activated it. I think that was the second or third uppercut that Dubois landed. I think the first one hits Usyk armpit. That looked like the money punch the whole fight for Dubois. Yeah, I mean, it looks like Usyk suffers from getting hit to the body. But here's another good thing for Usyk. He tends to be the shorter fighter in the heavyweight division because he's so little. He's a little fighter. So hitting him to the body is not easy. It's very risky for a taller fighter to hit him to the body consistently the entire fight. Dubois had one good round. I know, and everybody and the world goes crazy. Usyk had the hardest style for Fury. I think, yeah, he does. He's a little too slick, feet are too fast, and he can actually put volume on Fury 100%. The thing with the heavyweight division is that in the heavyweight division, it's easier to be successful. It's easier to be successful in the heavyweight division because a lot of people are just big. They're big. It's all about hitting hard, being big. So some people lack technical abilities. So when you have really good technical abilities like Fury, you shine in a sea of people who are like bumbling around. But what happens when you go up against somebody who's way more technical than you are, which Usyk is, has better feet, has better angling than you do, which that's what Usyk has. It's going to be tough. It's going to be tough. My boys see Fury as some unbeatable boxer. He's a great fighter, but he has his own flaws. 100%. 100%. I hope Usyk versus Fury does happen. I got Fury by stoppage. Congrats on 50, bro. Thank you, Mr. Nobody. Thank you. We hit it. We hit 50. Yeah, he released it an hour ago. See, that's what I'm telling you, bro. That's what I'm telling you. If he don't know about this, what are the chances that they doing a rematch clause? You don't think Crawford's going to talk to him like, yo, we got to get ready for the thing to fight. It's going to be in December. Let's set up a date for this time so we can get the thing together, get all the equipment, start working. You don't think that they're going to hit him up for the rematch clause? If it gets activated and they're yes, of course. But he hasn't. What are the chances that they're just keeping it to the chest and they haven't told? No one does that. No fighter does that. But again, I could be wrong. They could still have the rematch without him activating the rematch clause. It just doesn't look likely to me. But let's see. Let's see. Could you be a heavyweight fanatico if you were boxing seriously? Nah. Ain't nobody trying to get punched in the face against pro boxers. Nope. No, it. Sorry. No. Have I trained in boxing? Absolutely. Yes. Most of my teenage years into my adulthood, I trained in boxing, sparring, doing all that. Am I going to become a heavyweight? Heck no, man. Listen. Yeah, they don't got that much skill, but they got enough skill and enough power for somebody like me not to be able to just enter there and do some damage. No, it's not gonna happen. Anyways, we're gonna go ahead and end the stream. Episode 50 is done. We hit it. 8 p.m. is when we end our stream, guys. If you haven't done it yet, please hit that subscribe button, hit the like button on your way out. Don't forget, hit the like button. It helps the channel. People are going to watch this live stream after in video on demand. They'll watch this after the fact. So hitting the like still helps it, even if we're ending the show. But every Mondays, every Wednesdays, every Fridays, 7 p.m. Eastern time to 8 p.m. Eastern time, we are live with Boxing Fanatico Live. We got Hugh Jace. Thank goodness. I was wondering, where is Hugh Jace? We got to give him the member. Hugh Jace got in here for the episode 50. I'm in the building, Fanatico. Peace. Episode 50. Thank you for being a member, Hugh Jace. Thank you for being here for episode 50. Thank you so much to everyone. Now we shoot for episode 100. That's the next celebration, will be episode 100. So until Friday, guys, thank you so much. And peace out.